Yo guys, what's going on? It's your boy Fxtch here, back with a brand new YouTube video. In today's video, I'm going to be telling you guys how you can actually better and improve crosshair placement within Fortnite Chapter 2. I asked you guys over my community tab what video topics I should cover, and you guys went crazy with crosshair placement videos. Like, so many people wanted this, so, I'm delivering. I'm giving you guys what you want. If I go ahead to help you, this video helps you in any way, shape, or form, the least you can do for me is slap that like button, subscribe to the channel, post notifications turned on, therefore you never miss an upload, just like this. Also remember to use code Fxtch in the Fortnite shop. I want to give a huge shout out to Anomic, Shikari, Zikro, Shaw, Arch, Wally, Boris, Shadow, Snowpout, Kawaii, Mad Savage, Motion, Infinite Fire, Sky, and Terror for all using my code in the item shop. It means a lot. If you want a shout out just like that, all you have to do is screenshot you using my code. You do not have to buy anything, just screenshot my code in the item shop, send proof in my Discord, and yeah, you can get a shout out. So getting straight into this here, the first tip as to how you guys can actually improve your crosshair placement would be to practice optimal editing. Now, by optimal editing, what I mean, I'm kind of just going to give you like a flat out explanation right here. I'm going to showcase it for you visual guys out there, but basically what I mean by optimal editing is to when you are editing, so let's say you want to do maybe a triple edit like so you're going to edit these two tiles, do a double edit, you're then going to place a wall like so, and then you're going to edit through this like this. So your traditional triple edit. What you guys need to remember is when you're doing a triple edit, you don't actually have to, or with optimal editing at least, what you guys need to remember is when you're doing a triple edit or any edit, in this matter of fact, when you actually make the edit, what a lot of people will do is they'll actually move their mouse a whole ton just to even select these three pieces right here. So you want to select the three bottom right hand tiles here, and people will literally make like a complete adjustment like so, and you don't actually have to do that, right? You don't have to literally go from this very bottom piece all the way around up to this corner here. Like, that doesn't need to take place because you can actually make edits without having to make these like huge large crosshair movements or jumps in your wrist or hand when you're actually like moving your mouse. Like, it isn't needed. Instead of actually doing this, which a lot of people are in habit of making like a big kind of like a backwards L motion, you can simply just go to this far corner and just get these like edges here. So on this tile here, what you want is a top right hand corner. On this one, you want the top left hand, and on this one, you want the bottom left. So kind of these corners here. And what that basically does is it makes it more optimal, right? Like, you're literally only moving your crosshair like this, which requires very little mouse movement, like near to none. You can kind of keep your crosshair in the same position like from here. So you're making these two edits like so, and when you end off this last edit like this, place a wall, you can kind of keep your crosshair in almost a similar position and just go like this, and that will select the tiles you need. You can then confirm that and go through. Now, it's one thing you really should practice, because a lot of people don't do this, right? They'll make, again, like a full edit like this. No matter how they do it, they're going to make a very big adjustment, which they don't need to do. They're going to select the tiles completely like this just because they don't think they'll select, where realistically, instead of making a big movement like this, they can simply just go like that, and they're still going to select all the tiles they need and still make a good edit. This is one thing that you really should practice. Like, again, it does come very much with practice, but yeah, it's something that you should definitely work on. Like, even there, I'm guilty for it sometimes. I really did make like quite a big adjustment. Like, I have good muscle memory, which kind of makes up for it, but it really is something you should work on, because yeah, like, obviously, again, if you are to be making like a big movement like this, it's going to take a lot longer and not be as optimal compared to, like, for example, if you're literally going to like just select these here, like make that little of a movement and still select them, still make a good triple edit and get through. And now moving on to kind of what tip number 2 would be, and I mean, it does all link, and this is going to be a way you can actually improve optimal editing and get better at it. The first thing would be if I actually turn on my give me 1 second here, turn on my keyboard and mouse cam. Here you guys can see my mouse, basically focus on my mouse here, but what you want to do is put a ton of weight and almost like pretend that your mouse is cemented or almost glued in one fixed position, like you cannot move it from here. And if you do that, like, literally make it your duty to like put a ton of pressure on your wrist. Obviously, it's something you don't want to do in the long run. Like, you want to slowly ease off that pressure and get good without having to do this. But let's say to learn, you want to almost discipline yourself. I'm going to talk more about discipline later in this video, but you want to, yeah, almost discipline yourself, restrict your movement, push really hard into your mouse, so like it's very hard to move your mouse, keep it basically static, right? And you want to still try and make an edit, right, or a triple edit. It's going to be a little bit harder. You're going to have a great urge to like wail around and move your mouse around really fast just to even like perform the edit. Now, I've been practicing this for a while, so I'm kind of out of habit of not doing that, but depending on what edit combinations I'm making, occasionally I'll sometimes still do it. And I think right now, like there, I'm moving my mouse quite a bit where it shouldn't be. And let's say now if I'm to do a triple edit, I'm going to do relaxed triple edit, right? This is a relaxed, like I'm chilling, I just want to perform a triple edit. I'm moving my mouse quite a bit. I know I'm not moving it a lot, but I am like definitely moving it. Now, if I'm to put all my weight onto my mouse right here, like try not to move it whatsoever, like really restrict my movement here, like I did it literally 10 times better. Now, it was more precise. If anything, it looked a whole lot better. And yeah, you can see it's almost like I had aimbot in my editing. Like, it was so precise, almost exact. I didn't make a huge jump in my movement on my mouse movement. I was straight and I just went bang. Simple. Edit done, confirm, and kept moving. Now, that was a great example of it. And of course, this isn't the only way you can do so. Now, like, obviously, there are other ways you can almost restrict yourself. Now, a good way to do this, or I think a better way, I mean, if you guys don't want to do this, I feel like a lot of people won't do this because it requires you actually changing your sensitivity. And what it is to just simply half your sensitivity, like literally cut it in half. So let's say you play, I don't know, like let's round this down here. So 22%, I'm going to half that to 11%, and then I'm going to play 11% sensitivity. And what that's going to do is it's going to restrict my movement, right? I'm on 11%, so let me actually do that here. Okay, let's just get it roughly. I know micro changes or micro adjustments. Okay, that's actually dead on, but 11%, like my mouse is a whole lot slower. I have to move it a whole ton more just to even make an edit. But what you want to do is try to resist the urge of moving your mouse a lot more just because your sensitivity is lower, and it'll basically make your mouse feel a lot heavier, right? And what that also means, or basically because you have a low sense, it means you can make more precise edits because things are slower, right? Which means you have less movement to make, or are making less movement using, like, for let's say, I don't know, you're using the same force on your mouse, so you're not moving your mouse any more than you'd usually be just because you have a low sense. You're keeping it kind of normal or natural to how you'd usually move your mouse, and that there obviously restricts you because now your in-game isn't moving as fast. I'm making it sound complicated, but it's really not. But like, you know, everything's a lot slower, which means it's also a lot slower to make these edits and make these movements, unless again you are to actually change how fast or how far you are moving your mouse to almost just match your old sensitivity. But if you're not to do that and you're literally just to edit normally, you're gonna make more. I know I'm messing this up because, you know, I'm not used to it, and it will take some adjustment, but you know, your edits will generally be a lot more like cleaner in a way because, you know, you can't move it as much, and that means instead of making a big jump like this, you're gonna keep your mouse in a similar position, and what would usually be this is going to turn into a smaller, more optimal edit because of course everything is just a lot slower. It's like slow motion almost. And this doesn't mean permanently switch to this, like permanently switch to this sensitivity. Like, as you can see, my movement, everything else is, I'm not really trying to get used to it. It's just all you want to do is practice at least your optimal edits on this, so when you're then to go back to a normal sense, you're kind of in that muscle memory of keeping your mouse in that same position, or at least your crosshair. So like, you're in that habit of basically always just going like this rather than making a huge jump or like mouse movement almost. Like, it puts your mind into this habit, and it's where like muscle memory comes in. And then when you're basically to higher sense to what it used to be, so I was on 22%, I think. Let me do this right here. It's gonna feel a little bit weird at first. There we go. It's going to be a little bit hard to get adjusted. It's going to feel a lot faster, right? But now your editing overall should be a little more optimal and precise rather than like you're making like huge jumps. Hopefully that makes sense, but it's more something you have to actually try out for yourself. Like, basically just don't be making huge jumps like this. You can simply just edit these tiny corners here, like just barely touch the edge of them, and it will still make the same tile edit, and you can still perform a triple edit or any edit in that case. And I'm back in my creative board here so I can demonstrate this better. But moving on to tip number 3, what this would be is actually when you're making an edit, just say your opponent is outside your box, like you've boxed them here. This is maybe your wall, like they're in your box, right? You've boxed them. Maybe this is like their box, or you've generally you've generally just got the whole box, or maybe you've, you know, piece control them, like something like that, and you own everything. They're maybe behind your cone like so, or you actually get a stair in there. This would be the most ideal example, but you are to get a stair in there like this, and where you'd usually do like a Mongol classic or a calculated edit on your opponent, what you need to do is actually move your crosshair already, like you want to pre-move your crosshair to where your opponent is. It sounds stupid, it sounds kind of complicated, but it really isn't. So let's say I'm to actually do a Mongol classic, like I'm to take the wall like this, I'm to place this and do an edit. Usually your crosshair is on your edit, so wherever you're going to edit, usually for a Mongol classic, you're going to take the wall like this, you're going to edit like this, place this there and edit. And at this point, a lot of people are editing, they're confirming the edit but still looking here. So they're coming off selecting the edit, they're confirming, but they're looking where they came off like this, and then they're readjusting their crosshair and moving to where the enemy is. What you need to be doing is, instead of doing that, take the wall, edit, and give yourself time as you're editing to already pre-adjust and look over to where your enemy is before making that edit. And when you confirm, you're ready to shoot and ready to fight because your crosshair is basically already on them, which will give you not only the advantage generally in the fight, like you're going to probably shoot them first and win the fight, and your opponent doesn't have, like, of course if you're doing this and you're looking over here, your opponent has room because you still have to readjust, and also because you're readjusting almost in like a panicky state, you have to readjust faster, you feel pressured to do that, you're probably going to miss your shot. If you're actually giving yourself time where your enemy is behind the ramp like this, you're giving yourself time to think, make the edit, look at them, make sure you have your target acquired, bang, shoot them. Your crosshair placement is most likely to be like A1, I know it sounds like a super simple thing, but a lot of people don't do this. If they are to Mongrel Classic or they are to catch someone, they're kind of letting off where they've made the edit rather than actually making the edit like so, and also looking to their opponent and taking a shot. It's something super easy, but it's simply changing the placement of your crosshair and moving your crosshair to where your enemy is before you actually make an edit when trying to perform a technique on them. It will really make the difference rather than just like going like this, then readjusting, where you could actually go like this, already have readjusted, make the edit, and probably kill them. And now moving on to the fourth and final tip I'll give in this video. I think this maybe should have been the second or third tip. It's kind of hard to like put these in order because they all do somewhat link together and tie together, but this is a little bit different to what I've already mentioned. Like, of course, optimal editing will take a huge part in this, your sensitivity, all of that stuff. Like, it all does tie together to your crosshair placement. But what we're going to talk about now is discipline editing. Now, you probably don't know what that is, but you know, I'm going to show you right here. We're in an editing course. I think the name of this is Kanduke's 901 edit course. I'll put the link down below regardless. The code is at like the little top of the screen if you can see it there, but I'll link it down below so you guys can use this map. It doesn't really matter what edit map you use. It's just an very universal map in the fact that you have 9 different levels you can choose from. But let's say we're gonna try normal mode, I guess. Also, I do recommend you guys pick up a shotgun for this because basically you have different crosshairs for different things. So when you've got your blueprint out, you have this crosshair. I'll get my editor to zoom in. When you have your pickaxe out, you have this crosshair, and when you have a gun, mainly your shotgun, it's gonna be like the main weapon you're using to kill your opponent. You have this crosshair. Now, it's different for different shotguns, I believe, but you basically want to practice with what is, you know, like the best almost common one you'll be using, if that makes sense. So yeah, try and use your shotgun for the most part. But I'm over in this edit course right now, and discipline editing, what it is, it's basically you go into an edit course and you set yourself or you be strict with yourself, right? You discipline yourself or restrict yourself to only certain edits in an edit course. So let's say before I go into this, I tell myself that every wall I edit is going to be edited like this, every star I edit is going to be edited like this, so I can kind of like slip around it. Every corner edit, I'm going to edit on this back half and jump over and kind of get to this peak part here and jump up a ledge if I need to. And yeah, like hopefully that makes sense. But let's say like I do exactly that. It's obviously hard with the edit I set, but this is where like crosshair placement is huge. But you know, it helps you discipline. Now, of course, I can't do exactly what I want here. It's going to be a lot harder, but you know, that's where crosshair placement comes in. And you know, getting these edits right, building on your muscle memory. Like, I don't really know this edit course. I haven't generally tried it myself, but you know, you can still make the most out of it. I'm kind of messing this up. I'm trying to talk to you guys and do this at the same time, but yeah, it really does help. And of course, you can switch things up, add to it. This is where you can actually do triple edits here, which is also where the optimal editing comes into play. And of course, you don't always have to stick or limit yourself to like certain things, like that isn't just needed. And also, we've got to this part here where I don't think is actually exactly what you're meant to do, but you can also now implement you start use when pretending there's an enemy there, and also confirming your edit when your crosshair has actually been readjusted. So like instead of confirming my edit here and then readjusting, as already mentioned, I readjust, then shoot and like confirm. But let's just say you did that, you've now just limited yourself to this, and you've practiced as much with only editing like that. Now you can limit yourself to another edit technique or whatever you want to do. So let's say now you want to limit yourself to this edit here. So on every wall you're editing like that, every cone you want to edit like this, and every stair you want to edit on this far right hand side from the top to the bottom. You can now just simply do that. For this one, it's a little bit hard based on how like you're doing it, because you're editing like this and have to jump over. But again, I think that's where it also makes it more of a challenge, and you can learn this way because this takes a whole lot of muscle memory. But if you can do this and keep up with it, trust me, you're going to improve a ton. Now, some edits you will have to make an exception on, but for the most part, like, it should work completely fine. And now the reason we do this, I think I already explained, but you know, as I'm explaining, I'm not really gonna do this here, but basically what it does is it gives you discipline, as I've already mentioned, and of course that'll help you improve as a player on a whole. And also, you know, it builds muscle memory on the whole for your like crosshair placement, as you literally can practice every single angle of crosshair placement. Like, we're at this point now again where we can readjust, bang, shoot, and we can also try and work on this edit and editing on this side here, and also readjusting on this side. It literally lets us revise every single angle possible of where your crosshair needs to be on certain edit and in certain fighting situations as well. But yeah, guys, with that being said, I think that's all for this video. I think, like, bro, I'm recording this at 6 a.m. I have to be awake in 1 hour to go out with my family. So, the YouTube grind, it generally is catching up to me. Daily uploads, I missed a day. Or like, not actually of uploading, but I missed a day of recording, so I'm like a day ahead of each upload. So I'm trying to catch up. I'm just trying to push out as much beneficial content as possible that you guys wanted me to make this video. I'm sorry if it's a little bit of a mess, but you know, I tried my best to put this together in the best way possible, and for the most part, a lot of it comes down to like a lot of practicing and improving your crosshair placement. It all comes down just simply to practice and just drilling in that muscle memory. Now, what I've shown in this video, of course, it helps with practice, like disciplining the way you edit and what you're practicing. Also learning that it is possible for optimal editing, and of course your sensitivity factors into this, all of that stuff. But you know, morally, it all comes down to you as a person how much time you're putting into this game, and also in the end, these things do come naturally. Like, I mean, they're not just gonna come without trying, but they come naturally with work. I know that kind of doesn't make sense, but if you are to work on them, like even if you don't feel like you're making progression, you're revising it, you're practicing optimal editing and trying to restrict yourself to certain things using the tips I gave in this video, it will help, and in the long run you'll notice your crosshair placement is gonna be insane. But yeah, this is just a straightforward, honest, truthful video. Like, I don't know what else there is to it. I generally can't see there being anything else. I don't think there's any magic to it. It's more just putting in the time, putting in the work, and over time, I've said this 400 times in the video, but muscle memory, you build on it, and it just becomes second nature at one point. If you guys did enjoy the video, this did help in any way, shape, or form, drop a like for me, subscribe to the channel, new videos every single day. I hope everyone has an amazing day. It's been your boy Fxtch, and yeah, peace.